So here's what I'm seeing in this, man. Okay. So we're looking like, and this is just like a general review of this. The lowest level of building A. So there is going to be a basement level. This is where it's like, okay, I don't have any information on the architectural plans. Now I got to go into because they didn't give us the structural plans on this project. So this is, drives me fucking crazy, to be honest. If I don't have the full set of fucking plans, then it's like, okay, what are we doing here with the estimate? Like, now I have to take in generalized assumptions. If there is a basement level at the structure, and I'm not accounting for that, it's a big problem. At the same time, it looks like there's some stockpiles on this site that may have been removed, or some similar. I don't really know. It's like I am given there's a decent amount of information on here, but it's like when you don't have the structural plan, you don't know what the structural engineer is calling for. It's like nobody else really is. I really wish that the civil engineer would at least give like an outline of grades at the structure, because it's like it is a part of the civil site scope. If you're going to be talking about overall fucking soil movement for the building, then it's like there has to be like at least general understanding of elevations within the structure. If this whole fucking floor level is dropped by 7 feet, if there's a 7-foot basement at one of the parts of this building, then it's like I'm going to be completely, depending on how expansive and how lateral those extents are. Now I'm in a position where I'm kind of shooting from the hip. If they're saying that one of these elevations is lower, or for whatever reason, if there's a dropped basement, if it's for some sort of utility, if it's just like a compactor room, if it's an elevator, if it's an elevator shaft, anything, you have no idea how laterally extensive these are going to be. Now I can try to get it out of the geotech report, but it's like it's not the geotech engineer's job to do any sort of final analysis of the specifications of what the building is going to end up being. This does have quite extensive geotechnical investigation information, but the way that they're presenting it on the engineering side, like the recommendations are fine, but it's like I'm estimating the construction. I'm not estimating some vague interpretation of what the subgrades are. That's fine. The proposed construction, a finished floor elevation of 565. So what I'm seeing on here on my plan is 542. 542. Okay, so this is I must be looking at an old so this must be an old geotech. This is from 2020. Okay, so this is not so. I'm looking at okay, so that's on me. I'm looking at this is the thing, man. While you're in this process, like if you're not understanding, if you're not able to like pick up your own mistakes, they're not mistakes until they leave your desk. Like there has to be like this self-referential and self-correcting attitude in this industry. Otherwise you're fucked, because you're not going to get everything. There's so much information to take on in this project. It is like almost a little overwhelming. What I'm trying to do is simplify it to a certain extent here. That's really what I'm trying to do, because this type of estimate at this point in the project, now they want to undercut. Okay. Wait. On pavements. All right. Okay, so all of that in the other geotech was simply talking about the other building. So now we're talking about this building here. It's all a cut site. I have about 60,000 yards of cut estimated over what they had. So whether or not I can account for that at the subgrades of the parking, it's a fairly substantial area if they're not accounting for those subgrades. However, a lot of this is fill. So it boggles my mind how this could be so off. How this could be off in that extensive of a way. Like, how could they be? They said they're at 135 rock excavation. I'm not doing any rock excavation. So they're okay. So we need to understand what we're looking at in the context of the building pad. Existing fill. All borings except for HB2 and HB3 encounter previously placed fill to depths ranging from 2.5 to 15 feet. All of that fill is unreliable for supporting structures. You know, the fuck is that? Well, I mean, it's just, come on, you can't have that. Unbelievable. What is that? So what I'm seeing here is that there's okay, so it's potential to use. So it's undercut building pad and extents 2 feet, then replace, recompact. Proof roll. Parking areas, undercut if required. I should really be doing a full analysis of this at the time, but I'm really just trying to dig out what we need. So some of the excavated on-site, okay. Wait, what? Imported fill. So all fill required to achieve design grades should be classified as structural fill and general fill. Structural fill is material used below or within 10 feet of structures, pavements, constructed slopes. General fill is material used to achieve grades outside of the area. So they want to use structural fill within all paving and building pad areas. Drives me crazy because it's just not clear. It's just not clear. So now I need to find a way to properly estimate this project to give them like a good approximation of what's going to happen in the field. And I'm just guessing. It's a lot of fucking bullshit on me because I don't have a full understanding of the project. Nobody does. But that's the job here. It's the job that we have to do. So but it's saying existing fill. If the owner collects on existing fill to reduce initial construction costs. So it's saying that they want to undercut, but any fill does have to be structural fill within the pavement and structure area. That's going to be substantial cost. This is going to be a $15 million project. I mean, 20 million. With pavements is such a big project. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. See, this is the point where you start to get a little overwhelmed, but you have to you got to just take it on, man. You just got to understand, take it piece by piece, and because it's a lot. Spread footings, I'm not talking about. I'm not even looking at that because they don't have any information on it. Spread footing supported by Ram Dagger piers. I don't have a structural plan. You don't have a structural plan. I hate it. It's so annoying. Give me the structural plan. Like that, you don't give me the fucking structural plan. The ARC plan doesn't have any information. Doesn't have any information on foundation type. This just looks like a spread footing. I don't have any information on the interior. Oh, it's so annoying. That drives me crazy because anything at the pad, we just don't have information. I would need the structural plan. Like, it's not an option to not have the structural plan. Because there's going to be 4 different slab types inside of this fucking building. I know it because there's so much different fucking like all this equipment inside of the structure is going to have to be supported in varying ways. If there's big racks, if there's like cooling racks, those are heavy. Those are heavy materials. They're going to have to be supported. At the same time, there's probably some sort of like insulation, but I don't have any information about it. Any existing fill present in these floors been undercut. Structural fill, 18 inches of the LVC zone. Six inches of free draining material. There's no, I don't know. I don't have any information on the fucking below grade walls. I'm not going to make any assumptions, dude. Because we don't have the fucking, I don't have information on it. You didn't give me anything. Let's see. Okay, now we're getting the pavement. So it looks like there's any fill in the building pad area is going to be structural. That's what it's saying. It's defining that. This defines this fill type. These floor types, the rigid inclusions, I think they are doing the rigid inclusions. But then they wouldn't want to undercut. "10 feet of structures, pavements, or constructed slopes." I mean, assume that the majority of on-site soils are not suitable for reuse. It's unbelievable. All right, you know what? I can bitch about that all I want, but I still have to fucking figure out how to do this. So I'm gonna have to go through here and create a fucking boundary. It's fine. It's fine. See, this is where you start to get a little you start to get a little upset with these fucking situations because it is annoying, the lack of information if you don't have it. So there's usually like a half hour of being frustrated. And then you figure out, okay, this would just something I'm just gonna deal with it. That's the thing, like these guys in this industry, these guys want to keep it simple for the most part. It wants to be simplified to an extent that it can. So that's like having the ability to like simplify this shit to the amount that you can is fucking huge. Because overcomplicating it is actually it's not actually beneficial. People will just kind of be turned off by it. It's interesting because like, you know, in engineering school, you think that it's going to, you know, we have to be very technical and precise about everything. But this industry is not built for being precise. It just isn't, because at this point in human technology, we don't have the ability to fully understand in like the depth required 3-dimensional extents of systems. Like we just don't have the information required. So what we're doing is like, it's almost like the geotech engineer just, they are such a fucking little asshole. I mean, I respect what they do, but it's like, you don't have to, like, it is a little much sometimes with like the fucking technical language and shit. Like you guys are just like doing this shit on purpose. They want to be flowery when it's like, you could just say like it could be like three sentences. Just be like, use structural fill. This is how, like undercut building pad 2 feet. But the technical, I respect it, but it's just at a certain point, if we're going to be, this is the thing about the industry that I don't like. If we're going to be so imprecise in our methods and our means, then we need to be a little more imprecise in our language. And by imprecise, I don't mean I don't mean imprecise. What I mean is more succinct. If we're going to be so loose with our allowance for error, then just fucking say what you want. Like there doesn't need to be this big, like, it's such bullshit, just the way that they make it sound anything. Like it just isn't required. If it's structural fill, the whole thing is fucking structural fill. Like, it's so annoying, dude. It drives me crazy because it's like, it just doesn't need to be like that. It doesn't need to be defined in such like a confusing way. I'm reading through this geotech. It's like, it took me, I don't know. And that's, that's the reason that I fucking have a job doing this, is because it's not easy to do and it is technical bullshit. But it's like, at the same time, it's like, it's fucking annoying. Like, why are we doing that? And you don't understand that until you're on this side of the industry. Now that I'm on this side of the industry, it's like you have this viewpoint into it where it's like, dude, this is so fucking annoying. Like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing it like this? If you want a certain thing out of it, just fucking say what you need. Just say what it's supposed to be. It's an undercut of the building pad. I shouldn't have to spend fucking 20 minutes going through the fucking plans to figure that out. It does, like, why? So, but it is what it is. At a certain point, you just kind of have to accept it and be like, yeah. And it's like, this industry is not built for precision. That's where it's like, I think there's a disconnect between people who want to get into it and like make it about, there is a real disconnect between the engineers and then the construction people. And it's like, it doesn't need to be there. They could be just working on the same page. I guess the division of labor kind of helps in like a lot of the, it's an in-depth world. It does take a lot of knowledge to be a civil engineer. It's not like I don't respect that. But at the same time, a lot of what they do is superfluous. It's like, it doesn't need to be done. And like the contractors do have a legitimate critique of what is done on the engineering side, because it's like a lot of it is just not necessary. It's not to say that it isn't interesting, but when it comes to a construction part of, like, a lot of it just can be disregarded. Should be disregarded. So the thing is, like, you end up looking at what the engineer's doing and you just kind of scratch your head like, what are you fucking talking about? Sometimes it's just like, I think, dude, because you have to think about the incentives. Like a lot of engineers, they have an incentive to fucking keep their job. Like they need to have something to do. But it's like the way that they're putting that together, the way that they're analyzing the project, it seems to be a lot of like self-flagellatory behavior where they want to look at themselves and say, "Oh, we did a great job on this." But it's like you didn't. If you made it more confusing than it's supposed to be, you didn't do that great of a job. So like, there's some fucking dogs barking. There's always some dogs just barking in the fucking streets. That's always fucking fun. But that's kind of what it is, man. It's like they need to understand that, but they don't. I know that they don't because I used to work with them. I used to be one of them. And they really don't take into account anything other than their little world of insularity. And there's a lot of ego involved in being a civil engineer that shouldn't be there. Like, you don't need to be egotistical for fucking designing a fucking parking lot. It's not that cool. Dude, at some point you have to hit a dog. I'm sorry, I don't want to be the person to say that, but like some dogs need to be actually hit. And it's not, it's not a bad thing to say, I don't think. I think it's just like, there's a measure of discipline that needs to be exacted on an animal. If it's acting like, hit it, smack the dog. It has to happen. You can't let a dog just do that type of thing. Like, they need to be disciplined. It's like you can't let a child just fucking act out. You can't let a person act out in the fucking world. They need to be disciplined. They need to be told to shut the fuck up. It's the same with the dog. And people just don't do it. It's just like, that's the way of the world, man. I mean, that's kind of what it is. You got a lot of people that are just letting their dogs bark. It's a metaphor for the world. There's a lot of people that are just, seen that. What is that? But I'm probably the one that, shouldn't be getting mad, whatever it is. Who really cares? At a certain point, it's like, yeah, who fucking cares? But that's life. We all fucking sit there and complain about dogs barking and fucking boring talking. I'm sure that some people think that I'm annoying in a certain fucking context, which is totally fair. I'm sure that's correct in a lot of instances. So, it is what it is. What are you gonna fucking do? At a certain point, you gotta accept the way that the world works. And it ain't changing. That's the other thing too. The world really ain't changing. Oh shit, no, not that one. Okay, so I gotta get this. I'm inside of the fucking boundary. For what reason? I came inside that. Because there's no reason to be outside of it. Why did you do that? Yeah, so I don't know. There's something to fucking think about. Something to be considered. Like, there has to be some sort of analysis that is legitimate outside of the context of what you know. And that's just the truth. So you need to understand yourself as others understand you. That's not to say that you have to take on people's conceptualizations of what you are. It's just you have to understand them. Because it informs you in a way that you won't get outside of that. And it's something people don't really want to. People don't care to hear that. People don't want to hear that type of thing. And again, the dog. Hit the dog. Just hit the dog. Has to be done. Like, you don't want to have to act. You don't want to have it happen. The dog has to be struck. Like, it has to be hit. I mean, it just is part of life. Sometimes you have to hit a dog. That's what people don't understand. But that goes for people too. Sometimes you have to hit a person. But the thing is, you can't hit people these days. You're not allowed to hit people. But I get that. I get that you're not supposed to do it. But then verbally, there needs to be some discipline. People need discipline, man. People that don't have discipline just do anything. People won't self-discipline themselves. It just won't happen. Like they need to be told how to behave. For the most part, it's actually true. Most people will just run around fucking doing random shit if they're not told what to do specifically. That's the thing. That's the reality. That's the reality. I'm sorry. I don't want to, I'm not trying to burst your bubble, but that's kind of what life is. People aren't told to shut the fuck up. They'll just talk forever. And that dog, like, shut the fuck up. Dude, that's so annoying. I fucking hate that. Make it stop. Like, what are we doing with that? I would never let a dog do that shit, man. That's so crazy. That's so crazy to me. I just can't believe that. Just letting it fucking bark and bark and bark and bark. But some people are fucking stupid. Dude, some people like to have a dog that barks a lot because they feel comfortable. A lot of people do that. I've actually noticed that. Like, they will have a dog that's really fucking loud and annoying because it makes them feel like they're being protected. That's a real thing. People are very dumb, dude. I think people underestimate the amount of fucking just idiots that are in the world. It's kind of crazy, actually. What is this now? This is for the parking lot? Why is there... Wait. I didn't even mean to offset that. See, this is a pain in the ass. Like, having to do this. This sucks. Now I have to this whole thing has to be accounted for. I don't know if I'll be able to catch the exterior aspect of it. Fuck. This was so annoying, dude. At least I don't have to worry about the actual extent of it. Like, it should come back to itself. Typically, see the way that oh shit, that didn't get cut. Shut the fuck up, dude. Stupid fucking dog, dude. Hit the dog. It has to be done. It has to be done. Like, you can't allow a dog to continue to fucking bark. It has to be struck. Anyways, forgot that this was going. Forgot this was just going. Well, it makes me mad. It makes me upset to the extent that I have to fucking do this. I really don't like it. There's something about it that I really just don't. I dislike this whole fucking enterprise. Fuck. See, that one didn't need to be like that, but fuck. I'm just trying to get the whole limits here. Fucking goddamn, this is so fucking annoying, dude. Because there's something I think you can tell. I think there's a certain way that you can tell when people don't give a fuck about other people. Like, there's certain people in this world where it's just like their energy is just so fucking self-concerned that you just know that that they don't give a fuck. And then some people are just lost. Some people just don't know how to actually act in the ways that are in their self-interest. Okay, so I'm just going to use that because I'm tired of this. I don't want to do this anymore. So I'm just going to let this fucking run. I'm going to turn this off because, we got to the point that basically at the end of the day, all structural fill within the limits of paving is going to be, or all fill within the limits of paving and building pad are going to be structural fill. There's an undercut of 2 feet at the building pad. I'm not going to account for any footing construction, any fucking mat foundation. I don't know what it's supposed to be. I'm just going to say 6 inches of gravel at the pad And then we don't know. I don't have a spec for the building pad. So it's like, I can't estimate the project properly. If they had a spec, provided me the spec, I'd be able to do it. I don't have it. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep it simple. And then I'm going to put alternates for any of that. So I'll go crazy with the alternates, but I'm not going out of my way to fucking do a bunch of bullshit estimating, guessing. I'm going to do some estimating. I'm not going to do any guessing here. So